Hey guys, Foxdrop here, welcome back to another episode of our Road to Master. Today we are continuing with the same format we did last time, 10 games in one episode, starting at Diamond 4 18 LP, playing some Lee Sin. Now we were streaming when we played this game. If you guys watch my stream, you know that I don't like to stream while playing my main account while tryharding for elo, because my brain doesn't really work. I don't like getting ghosted, but you can see we had some pretty spicy plays to start things off here. Nice catch on the Oriana, looked pretty clean. Even getting people who are overextended, so a nice start to the game. However, my brain, like I say, wasn't working too well. So this meant that we didn't really close the game out too hard early, which then led to some late game team fights, which as Lee Sin you don't really want to take. However, having said that, if you do have a Jinx on your team, who's a very good late game carry, you can just protect her. And Shad, what the bloody hell are you doing? So we can protect Jinx and we can win the game that way, but that does rely on you team fighting with the Jinx. And in this situation here, we have Kassadin try and backdoor the inhibitor, really late, like desperate play here. And it's just like, what's the point? Whoever wins the next team fight wins the whole game. Why are you going to suicide for that? And then Shen uses ult suicides as well, so that's basically the game right there. But having said that, like I say, my brain doesn't work when I'm streaming, and this was another example of that. I could have won this game if I put my brain really on point. So we should have won the last game. Brain wasn't really on, but now we're in Diamond for 1 LP. I'm not streaming though this game, so hopefully my brain can work a little bit better. We're playing Gragas here. Gragas is a champion I like to play because he's quite versatile, can do stuff in the early game like you're seeing here, but also if the game goes on later on, he's good, he's still useful in team fights as well. So we get a lot of pressure in the early game with the gank top lane and also doing something here in bot. But we do overextend for this one, chasing a little bit too much. I missed my ulti, kind of over-predicting where Thresh will go. And it leads to like a really awkward situation where the enemy team just turns it around. But then they are guilty of the same thing that I was guilty of, which is overextending and over-chasing for the play. And, you know, they do the exact same thing, and then we pick up 2 kills here as well. So almost terrible for us, but not too terrible. And then a botch dive in the top lane as well. These are things that help us out. You know, things aren't really going well for the enemy team. I'm playing a lot smarter, except for that one right there. I don't know what that was. My attempt was to, like, make Kha'Zix stay away from Jarvan, but I pushed him into Jarvan. But it's okay, because, you know, like, 20 seconds later, I beat down on him, and I kill him anyway. But still, I'm really sorry, Jarvan. That was not intentional. I'm just genuinely that bad at this player game. The game goes on. Unlike the last game, we actually find ways to close the game out here. We find ways to push our advantage. And we do this team fight, which is actually 4v5 here. So we're going for a cheeky team fight. We win this team fight, all without our AD carry, who is arguably our strongest member. And a pretty easy victory with me running into the victory screen at the end there. Easy peasy. Game number 3, we played Gragas again, Diamond 4 20 LP. We're against an Elise this game, quite strong early game, so want to be a little bit careful. But what I was really proud about this game was my ability to track Elise in the jungle and counter jungle her as well. I was putting a lot of emphasis on stealing away her camps, but it's really good to do this kind of thing, because if you know where the enemy jungle is, it's not really that risky. So I just took away her chickens, then I go into her bot side jungle after that as well, and I take this stuff away too. So this kind of play, putting the enemy jungle behind, it's good because it's smart play. It means you're not just relying on fighting someone mindlessly, which can be kind of risky, because then if you lose the fights, you're pretty screwed. Talking about being pretty screwed, this has to be like the funniest play I think has ever happened in solo queue. He blast cones over the wall and gets stuck behind the Krugs. Poor fella. But we had a pretty good start. We like played quite, if you look at my score, it was quite a calculated game in the sense that we were going for like the counter jungle and stuff like that. We were playing more smart than we have done in the past. But our team's winning. We've put a lot of pressure on the map. Like this fight here is a pretty decent fight. And after securing the Rift Herald for Olaf as well, he then gets to push down top, gets loads of stuff there. And just playing around my teammates who at this point had managed to get pretty strong. You can see by my score, I did a little bit more as this game went on. And was more useful than I was early game, we'll put it that way. And yeah, Elise ended up not really doing anything this game as we wanted her to by putting her behind. Pretty clean game. But we don't really care if it's a clean game or not, we just want to win. Diamond 4 39 LP, we're playing our off-roll, Oriana. Again, this is another game that I'm quite proud of, not just for, you know, winning or losing, more specifically because I was actually playing a lot better in the lane phase. I was quite aggressive in this lane. I got some really good trades off. I wasn't just getting bullied around. Like my movements, if you look at my mouse as well, I'm moving much closer to my character, which means I can dodge Victor's abilities. And I was playing really aggressive. I was poking him a lot. I was going for the all-ins like you're seeing here too. Getting really close on that one. Almost popped him, but not quite enough. But like, I like this kind of play. I was really proud of myself here for this because it's usually the stuff I suck at. Again, more aggressive plays like coming through here. Just taking the initiative, casting those shockwaves. Graves had a really good game here as well, though. He was, yeah, he was just pretty strong. And stuff like this is stuff that I really like. Like. This is, to me, it's like, okay, good. You see this play. This is your brain working. You go for that play. You go for the aggressive play. That's what you need to do. It's these kind of plays that you forget about when you're on tilt because your brain just ain't working. And eventually, it all comes down to the fact that I was actually able to do pretty well. My team did well too. 3-man cheeky shockwave at the end there as well. And yeah, Graves was just like popping off this game. I made some progression as an Orianna player as well. And in the end, I was rewarded for my efforts. I was rewarded for my improvements. And I'm really enjoying having Orianna as like my secondary champion outside of jungle. Another benefit of putting mid as your second role, it means that you get jungle quite a lot. That's not the case for this game where we were auto-filled AD carry, Diamond 456 LP, playing some Caitlyn. Probably the strongest, one of the strongest AD carries on this patch, and for good reason. Look at that shit. Someone steps on your trap, and if they're squishy, they're absolutely donezo. But I had quite nice support here, set up a lot of plays for me. But if I get a good early game, man, that's what you need. On Caitlyn, she's known for strong lane phase, weak mid game, strong late game. If you have a strong enough early game, then you kind of bypass the weak mid game and then go straight into your strong late game. So having a strong early here, 3 kills already, pretty good CS. I was doing some nice harass as well here. I didn't need Thresh for everything though. You can't just rely on your support for the whole game. So even just going for some cheeky plays, mano against the enemy AD carry, although I guess by looking at their movements, you're not sure if they're players or bots walking into my traps. Nice cheeky prediction to dodge the vines there as well onto Zyra. Not going to pretend like that one was intentional, but you know, we can believe, right? You guys can think I'm the most amazing AD carry player in the world, right? 100% predicted right there. But such a strong early game, really hard to lose a game like this on your Caitlyn. And a team was doing well. Also leads to some good results. So we wind up pulling out the victory here. Good shit. And not just pulling out the victory, but something I'm particularly proud of here as well. Not getting the Hextech chest. No, the damage dealt this game. Look at that. Highest damage dealt. Oh yeah. Might seem kind of lame to be so proud about having the highest damage in the game. But for someone, you know, who's not very good at AD carry, that I was very proud of that. So we're playing Gragas here, guys. Diamond 474 LP. This one had a really rough early start. You'll see here I went to gank Yasuo, but my laner was quite low, and Jax was waiting for the counter gank as well. And in the end, it turns out to be a 3-for-1 in the enemy's favor, which is not the start you want to do. And this is the kind of play that I wouldn't have done if I was thinking about it a bit more. My brain was a bit on, so really not a great start. Also tried to go for the dive bot lane here because we saw Fizz was dead and Jax went topside or something like that. Basically no one was here, and this was a pretty easy dive, and we botched this one as well. I was trying to play around my bot side because they were the only people who weren't losing this game, and we botched the crap out of this, and then we all end up just getting shat on here. So we lose like 4 people, really sucks. However, pick Gragas because he's good at every stage in the game, and that means you can forge some comebacks. So games like this, guys, if you can come back from a game, not just lose it flat out, these are the games that change your rating. These are the games where instead of going -17, you go +17. It's a huge swing. You need to win these games if you can. Don't tilt. Ignore everyone if they're tilting you. Just play your best, guys, and pick a champion like Gragas. If you suck at coming back, don't play Lee Sin. Pick Gragas. Really good at doing that shit. And you can see here the team fight's starting to go in our favor. Really epic game here. Fiora really scales hard late game. We had a pretty good late game AD carry as well in Caitlyn. But if Caitlyn gets blown up at the beginning of the fight, what the hell is going to happen? Well, that's not what I say about Fiora. She's pretty good late game as well. So even though we got absolutely roasted this game in the early, like spamming surrender votes for like 15 minutes from our team, right? Quadra kill from Fiora there. Crazy game. I was actually playing versus my friend who was mid here, so I feel a little bit bad for beating him, but I don't really care that much because I want my elo. Amazing comeback. And like I say, those are the kind of games that are really important for climbing, because now instead of being Diamond 450 LP, we're now at 92 LP and 1 win out of my promos. Now, that's the good news. The bad news, is that I'm wearing a vest this game, so I'm sorry if, you know, that hurts your eyes or anything like that. But yeah, it's really been pretty bloody hot here in England recently, so I kind of have to do this stuff. We're playing Gragas top as well this game. I really shouldn't have done this. The problem with this game, honestly, is just I don't play Gragas top. Like, I can play Gragas, but I don't know how to play him top lane, so I never really had much like pressure in top lane. I didn't really do too much to this Jarvan. I mean, we're 25 minutes into the game, and that was like my second kill contribution in the whole game, so really not having like much impact this game. I really didn't get any good TPs off either, just like quite a sloppy lane phase from me. Didn't have much impact. Not the end of the world though, because I am Gragas, who's tanky and can kind of like peel pretty well and stuff, like be quite versatile in that sense. But it's not really how you win solo queue games consistently. And this was also a really rough one where the enemy team had so much dive with Jarvan and Rengar, and we had a Kog'Maw we needed to protect, and it just wasn't happening. Like, Kog'Maw just dies all the time. He just gets jumped on all the time. It's not really Kog's fault, it's just how it is. I mean, look at this fight right here. We're not really winning any of these fights because we're quite far behind, and Kog has to flash and heal just to get out of Jarvan. Then there's Cass. I completely forgot about Kassadin as well, jumping in. And this here was non-intentional. I did not mean to do that. I'm so sorry. I thought my hitbox would collide with Rengar. I'm so sorry. But like I said, not really too sad about losing because I shouldn't have picked Gragas. I don't know how to play him. I didn't deserve to win. You know who I should have picked though? Nautilus, because I do know how to play this guy in top lane. You've seen me play this guy a crap ton. I'm good at him. Part of the reason I play him is just because he's easy to play and you don't have to do anything special in the lane phase or anything like that. And I'm against Jace, which is really bloody annoying. Jace is such a lane bully. It's so tricky to play against him. And he oftentimes it's just like impossible to actually beat him in lane. But fortunately, I was able to play around Lee Sin a little bit in the early game here. You know, I can see him on the minimap, see his positioning, and set up plays really nicely on Nautilus. But yeah, Jace by himself a little bit tricky. Also did a bit of a better job than the last game going for the teleport plays, though arguably this one was a little bit too late as well because my AD carry was already dead at this point. But still, not a bad TP play, but having said that, look at top tower, that's probably going to go down here, so maybe not even worth it. I actually didn't do too bad versus Jace in the 1v1 though, to be honest. He had like maybe 10 more CS than me this game, which really is fine actually. Like, I'd probably rather be Nautilus coming out of lane phase than Jace in that situation. But I was never really in a position to 1v1 that guy, so it means it was kind of difficult for me to position properly. Like, you know, do I split push versus him, etc. So kind of hard. And this Twitch got really bloody fed from like outside sources. It wasn't really with me. And to be honest, this was just one of those games where I didn't really do too much, but that's kind of just Nautilus things. So a bit unfortunate that Twitch was so fed in the end. Having said that, of course, there was more stuff that I could have done. So I don't want it to sound like, you know, that last game was just not my fault at all. Always more you can do, guys. So moving on to another Lee Sin game here. We started with a Lee Sin game when I was streaming, and we are going to continue the penultimate game on a Lee Sin game that I was streaming. Some nice plays to set up right from the get-go there, and a second nice kick flash. Only 2 kills in the game so far been on me with the Orianna. However, this game was one of the most tedious games I played in my life. This one right here is how it all kind of turns around against us though. Nice start to the play, but we honestly went a little bit too hard here. This TP from Karma, okay TP, a little bit late, but it's okay. But we don't get the TP coming out from Kale, which is a problem because the TP coming out of Nasus here means that we can't turn that around. So that was just like a really awkward play. That's when the enemy team really started to like kick off there. But like I say, this game was so boring. We just rolled over and died. Like the kill score before I died there, we had more kills than the enemy team, and it led me to being just like really frustrated playing a playmaking champion when we weren't really making too many plays. I was trying to make plays like this, but honestly they were like, I don't know, not great plays. I was just like so frustrated this game. I was so bored. I just wanted to do what I could do, but yeah, not the best game ever. But yeah, I think you guys might be noticing a trend with how I play when I'm streaming, so I should probably stop doing that. It often doesn't end very well. We were playing Gragas here again. You know, if I'm ever stuck on Lee Sin, I just go and play Gragas afterwards because he's so much easier to play. And we actually play with Yellow Pete this game. I'm pretty sure this Urgot is Yellow Pete. I'm fairly certain it is. I'm not 100% sure. But that was fun to play with him. Unlike this bot lane probably thinks that it was not fun to play with me because I was just on these guys' dicks so hard in the early game. They just legit, like, look at that dive, honestly, just not fun at all. even outside of the very early game, I was still on top of them here, playing around the Urgot, playing around the Thresh, which was performing quite well for us this game. Getting a lot of stuff out of this as well, which was really beautiful things. And then transitioning that lead, not just from bot lane, but also then moving on to the other lanes and getting stuff done on there too, because that's kind of what you need to do, right? You can't have one winning lane. Thresh played really well to roam around 2, making that play there that you kind of just saw for like a split second where he flash flayed the Cassiopeia, but she's too slippery for me. But just, it's really chill, you know, just once you have an early game as strong as we had, we were kind of winning most matchups here. I mean, we weren't like hard winning top or mid, but it was enough considering we also had such a winning bot lane, and you can kind of see how this game went. So pretty easy game here, guys. Nice one to finish off. We're now in mid diamond 4, but thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Let me know what you thought about it down below. You can leave me a cheeky thumbs up if you liked it, and you can subscribe to me for more League of Legends content. But most importantly, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next video.